I'm Courtney.
And I'm Brandon, and welcome to the Time Travelers Club. So, this was kind of a super secret, sexy surprise special. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Secret sexy surprise special.
That's why
I
I
do
don't
love
have
the
an
alliteration.
intro right. There's a show I've been listening to, and like anytime like there's like a secret thing that happens, she's like super secret sexy thing. It'll be like super secret sexy marriage, super secret sexy rebellion, and you're like, I love it. It's like I like not trademarked, borrowing it. But no, for real. Welcome to Time Travelers Club, everyone. We decided to do an Easter special. It's kind of like a surprise. We were on hiatus for a month, like not even a month, but trying to get like prepared for season 2. And Courtney, how successful were we in catching up with all of our writing?
Oh, I plead the fifth.
Right. Exactly. So that's what happened. But
what happened
no, I mean,
was...
no, lots of going on in our lives, so like it's fine. It's just, sometimes we just needed the break, and that's fine. But I mean, we got some stuff written down. We're excited tomorrow for you guys if you're hearing this, because this is going to drop the day before our first episode for season 2 drops, because it falls on Easter Sunday, and we drop our first episode of the season Monday. So if you're hearing this tomorrow, you guys would be hearing season 2, episode 1. So like we got that done. Like, so we've got some stuff done, but some of the other stuff's still work in progress, but we're going to get there.
We're doing the thing. We are, in fact,
and this is kind
doing
of
the thing.
And this is kind of like my idea for an apology for that. Even though I don't owe anyone any apologies. It's like, all right, so since we procrastinated, more work. So
our self-punishment is so high right now.
Yeah.
No.
But I like doing these holiday ones. And like, so here in the States, Easter, yes, it's a Christian holiday in theory. In the States, it's kind of more of just a seasonal holiday. I mean, for a lot of people, it is a very religious holiday. But like, there's a lot of people who aren't like super Christian or super secret sexy Christian. I don't know why I say it like that. Who still kind of partake in like the sentimentality of the season, like the idea of spring and the hearkening of spring and the end of winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some like, some equinox energy without it really being an equinox thing.
Correct.
But yeah, so like I thought, it's still fine. It's fun. So why don't we still kind of do something? And you guys seem to like the holiday episodes according to the view rates. So I'm like, why not? And so I didn't want to get into the weeds of like because again, there's a religious connotation. So I'm like, what can we do that's Easter related, but not super serious? And I was like, Faberge Eggs. I don't know where it came from, but that's how I got there.
And we love you for it.
So today we are going to talk about Faberge eggs. So, Courtney, what is a Faberge egg?
Thank you for asking, Brandon. I love that so much. So, a Faberge egg is a jeweled ornamental egg produced by the Russian jewelry house of Faberge in St. Petersburg. During the Tsarist period, as many as 69 of these eggs were crafted, with 61 confirmed to survive until today. Now,
so they're super secret sexy eggs, right? They're super secret.
I mean, there were 69 of them. So
69.
but so
super secret sexy eggs.
But we have way too much fun. Hold on. So nearly all of the original first edition pieces were created under the direction of Peter Carl Faberge between 1885 and 1917. Now, the most renowned among them are the 50 imperial Easter eggs commissioned for the Russian royal family, 10 for Tsar Alexander III, and 40 for the last Tsar, Nicholas II. So that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. So of those, 44 are known to remain in complete or partial form, while the whereabouts of the others remain uncertain. Potentially in billionaire collections. Who knows?
It's potentially in billionaire collections, but we have to remember, and we're going to get into it. There's a messy time period that comes up with our last Tsar, and
Very
so very easily it's also been sold or melted down.
correct. So, Faberge eggs are among the most coveted objects in the decorative arts markets. Okay. In 2025, for instance, the Faberge winter egg sold at auction for 30.2 million American dollars.
That's crazy. Like, we're about to get into it, okay? But like, this is some of like the context of these eggs, right? Like, it's just an object. Some would even argue a gaudy object. I find them beautifully gaudy, but like, it's like, think of what that money could have done. And this is just like some guy who had 30.2 million laying around to just buy an egg.
Yep.
Meanwhile, people in this time were like, remember last year the price hike of eggs, where people struggled just to have eggs to eat.
And he's buying one decorated egg for $30.2 million. Insane.
So, yeah. So, what are the origins, you may ask? Thank you for asking. It all starts with the Faberge family, whose origins can be traced back to the 17th century France under the name Fabre, which is really funny because like you think the name Faberge is the French part, and yet it's like, no, it wasn't French enough, so that's why they changed it. That's my headcanon.
I love your headcanons.
We're going to actually find out why, but like, the Fabres lived at a village in La Butte in Picardy region of northern France. However, they fled the country during or shortly after 1685 because of the religious persecution following the revocation of the Edict of Nantes. So that is a story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
The long story of the short of it is that Protestants were super secret, sexy Protestants, right? Because the Catholics in the area did not like Protestants. The same thing was going on in England in reverse. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were trying to kind of come out of hiding, right? There was a marriage between the Protestant Prince of Navarre and the Princess of France, but like all this stuff was going on, right? And it's like this idea of unification until, surprise, we end up the origin for the word massacre in that moment.
Yay.
Because there was this massacre. Yeah. And then in 1685, this is Louis the Sun King now. That was his like ancestor, right? Who had, said, hey, maybe we shouldn't be killing freedom of religion. You could be a Protestant. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Louis was like, no.
Nah.
No. And so we revoked it. So then now all these people who had just been openly worshiping for most of their lives were now all of a sudden a problem.
Again.
So, and this also includes Jews, but the focus was more on the Protestants. The Jews were already kind of like, they didn't, but like in theory, it was like people, there was supposed to be this religious tolerance, and that should in theory include Jewish people, but like, um, but
Yeah.
like now it was Huguenots, which were the Protestants of France. Um, there were 250,000 of them that like with this like overnight became refugees, right? Because it's like you need to get the fuck out or die or
Yeah.
convert. So the Fabergés were among this community at the time, right? The Favres. And so the family decided to move eastward through Europe. And it is supposedly here that the name progressively changed from Favre to Favre to Fabry to Fabrier to Faberge and then Faberge without an accent. So like Faberge, not Faberge, whatever. At Schwitt on Oder, northeast of Berlin, because we are just having fun with all the names today. In the second half of the 18th century, a Jean Favre, subsequently Favre, is known to have been employed as a tobacco planter. So they got their hands in tobacco, apparently. And then by 1800, an artisan named Pierre Fabre, later Peter Fabrier, had settled in Parnu, in the Baltic province of Livonia, now Estonia. Then there was a Gustave Fabrier who was born there in 1814. And then by 1825, the family's name had evolved to the current Fabergé. So, in the 1830s, Gustave Fabergé moved to St. Petersburg to train as a goldsmith under Andre Ferdinand Spiegel, who specialized in making gold boxes. Later, he continued his training with the celebrated firm of Keibel, goldsmiths and jewelers, to the emperor. In 1841, upon completing his apprenticeship, Gustave Fabergé earned the title of Master Goldsmith. Later that year, Gustave married Charlotte Jungstedt. I'm not German, and this is, I believe, at least German adjacent, so I apologize. And the daughter of Karl Jungstedt was an artist of Danish origin. I guess Danish,
Mhm.
so German adjacent. In 1846, the couple then had a son, and the main character of our story, Peter Carl Fabergé, popularly known as Carl Fabergé. So Carl was his name.
Carl, you can't do
You can't
that.
hand
You
Carl.
can't eat hands, Carl. Oh my god.
Carl. Can't. Good people
Carl,
don't
that
do that,
kills
Carl.
people, Carl.
Carl, you can't accept 30 million for an egg while people starve. That kills
Carl.
people. We're
Our
serious
humor is messed up.
historians.
Our humor is so
Mhm.
messed up.
And also telling of our age. So,
We're so old now.
I know. Like, this was before so many people's time who can drink now.
Oh god.
I know. Oh.
I think I need a shot. Oh god.
I was like, people were probably conceived to that video that can now drink. Uh, so, we're serious historians. On the 20th of November, 1872, Carl married Augusta Julia Jacobs. Wow, that was an easy name to read. Daughter
Mhm.
of furniture craftsman. Oh, here we go. Gottlieb Jacobs. I wonder if it's like Jacobs or something, you know?
Probably.
Um, Probably. He also took over his father's firm the same year. His first child, Eugène Fabergé, see, that was easy for me to say, was born in 1874. And 2 years later, oh, that's a name, Agathon
We need to bring it back. That's a good name. I like it.
Oh, these names, man. Gottlieb, Agathon. That's an intense name.
That is an
I don't even know
intense
the
name. I
gender.
like
I don't
it.
even know the gender of that name. Like the Aga, it makes me think of like Agatha, but then
Uh-huh.
like the Thon is like Megatron. You know, it's
Yeah, so it's feminine and masculine simultaneously. I love an androgynous name. I
it's like
love an androgynous
Agatron.
name.
It's like Agatron, and it's like Baba
Oh,
Yaga's house, like
yes.
but
Oh my
Transformer.
god, with the chicken feet. Yes.
So Agathon Faberge was born, and then Alexander and Nicholas Faberge followed in 1877 and 1884, respectively. The company was also involved with cataloging, repairing, and restoring objects in the Hermitage during the 1870s. So the Hermitage is a very big, important, sexy museum. Okay.
Love a
Very, very
sexy
famous.
museum.
hmm it's a big deal. In 1881, the business moved to a larger street level premises at the Bolshaya Morskaya. I think I did good there.
You did good.
Fabergé also, I try. Fabergé also began making changes to transform the firm from what his son Eugene called a dealer in petty jewelry and spectacles. His time in Europe had inspired him to make pieces that were more than a sum of their parts. You know, this kind of reminds me weirdly of that scene from like Beauty and the Beast, the live action, where like the dad does like he's not like an inventor, but he
Hmm.
does like these beautiful paintings, but then he also creates these like really intricate things. You know?
Yes. Oh my gosh, what are they called?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not animatronics.
Automatons.
Automatons.
But
Thank
he,
you.
but he does it like with the clockwork, but it's these little things. It also
Hmm.
reminds me of their Nutcracker movie where they did that. Like it turns out that the mom was actually this wonderful artisan who did like these little music boxes and things where they
Hmm.
would pop open, like all the things would dance and stuff. It
Hmm.
gives that vibe. Like he's
Very much
just
so.
like this, like yeah. And I like to think that's pretty charming. Expensive things interest me little if the value is merely in so many diamonds or pearls, which I think is a lovely sentiment.
It
It's like
is.
it shouldn't be because it's covered in jewels. It should be like it's like the value of like what's inside. Like it does something.
Yes,
I think that's like cute. I mean, it's useless, but it's cute. I get the vibe. I get what he's going for.
I do. So by 1881, Carl earned enough recognition.
Carl,
Carl earned enough recognition
I
among
promise
his
we won't do that.
peers.
I promise we won't do that the entire time. Feel free to reread that. I'm sorry.
I love you for it so much. Oh my god. But he had earned enough recognition amongst his peers to be anointed the master of the second guild, which marked him as a merchant or retailer rather than a craftsman. This also meant he did not have to submit his pieces for official testing when using his own hallmark to that of the firm. Upon the death of Hiscius Pendon, Carl Fabergé took sole responsibility for running the company and was formally acknowledged as the head of the firm. At this time, the firm employed about 20 people. So it was a small business and he took over. I
Yeah,
respect the shit out of that.
yeah, and I mean, like, it's like so. I work for a company currently who that was kind of their origin story, right? And you see this a lot, like Sears, Roebuck, and it just became Sears, right? I
Hmm.
work for a company where it's kind of similar. Like you get like Macy's again. Usually, it was like two dudes, right? Eventually, like one either sells their shares, or they split up, or one passes away, or whatever, and like the other one kind of just like takes over. Like they take, like and it's not like when I say take over, that makes it sound bad, but like no, like they just like okay, like they take it upon themselves to run the ship at that point.
They adapt.
Sometimes having that singular leader kind of helps with like a clearer mission.
It does.
You
It
know,
definitely can. So the firm's first major breakthrough was in 1882 when Carl and Agathon Faberge were a sensation at the Pan Russian Exhibition of Industry and the Arts held in Moscow. Carl was awarded a gold medal due to his work at the Hermitage, which included Greek and Scythian jewelry from the 4th century that he had helped to restore.
So pause for a second. This is like, there's a whole other story happening here right at this second that we're not getting into today. Maybe for a Patreon episode soon.
Okay.
Where there's like Scythian jewelry was the shit for some reason at this time, okay? Like if you ask like a rando person down the street, say, hey, do you know anything about the Scythians? They go, the who? But during this time, for some reason, they were really on vogue, right? And they were discovering these tombs and all these artifacts, right? Beautiful things, right? The Scythian culture, fun fact, may have inspired the Amazon, or actually, it's pretty certain that like at least one of the tribes or groups were the Amazons. Fun facts.
Yes.
But they were known for their goldsmithing. It was gorgeous shit, right? And therefore, hoaxes were made. And one, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, may have been working with Faberge at this time.
Ooh, we have a counterfeiter working with Faberge.
And they like sold it to the Louvre and everything.
Oh shit!
There's a whole story.
I'm here for it.
For another day, but I could not help but see this, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. Like the Scythian jewelry from the 4th century was a big 4th like century BC was a big deal. At this time period, it's not just a random fact. It may become important for a different story. So sorry, I wanted to just say that.
You're good. But he had been awarded the gold medal because of his work in restoring jewelry of a Scythian origin from the 4th century. So he had been invited to the expedition. Faberge had also received permission to copy and incorporate the designs of those articles, and this became the focus of his display. The magazine Neva wrote in an article, Mr. Faberge opens a new era in the art of jewelry. Her Majesty honored Faberge by buying a pair of cufflinks with images of cicadas, which, according to ancient Greek belief, bring luck. Although he achieved recognition of the imperial family, Faberge was only one of many jewelers supplying the Russian court. At least 5 firms are mentioned in the imperial accounts for 1883, with only 6,400 rubles paid to Faberge, which was by far the smallest. So he had low competition. So now we do go back to the Scythian artifacts. Tsar Alexander III declared that he could not distinguish Faberge's work from the original. He ordered that specimens of work by the House of Faberge should be displayed at the Hermitage Museum as examples of superb contemporary Russian craftsmanship. In 1885, the House of Faberge was bestowed with the coveted title Goldsmith by special appointment to the imperial crown, beginning an association directly with the Russian czars.
Yeah, and like, so I don't know 100% on this, but I have a feeling this is a time period where Russia kind of always struggled with this, like later on, like especially starting with like Peter the Great, with like this identity, right? And like trying to partially associate themselves with Europe, but then also we have this proud heritage that we can trace back to ancient times, just like all of you guys, right? So like the Scythians in their head were like their way, right? Because the Scythians were this like nomad group that, yes, did occupy parts of like the Caucasus and Russia and stuff like that. Is there a direct link? I don't think so. But like they're trying to claim that heritage for themselves. So that don't quote me on that, but I have a feeling that has something to do with this. But anyway, in 1885, Tsar Alexander III commissioned the House of Faberge to make an Easter egg as a gift for his wife. the Empress Maria Fyodorovna. Its shell is enameled on gold to represent a normal hen's egg. And this would pull apart to reveal a gold yolk, which turned open to produce a golden chicken that opened to reveal a replica of an imperial crown with a miniature ruby that was suspended. So, and we're going to get more into this later, but that was like roughly just the first egg. Kind of simple, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this simple egg chicken combo would spark the tradition of the Tsar giving his empress a surprise Easter egg. And this would, Carl Faberge would continue right to the end. So, from 1887, it appears that Carl Faberge was given complete freedom in designing the imperial eggs, which became increasingly elaborate. According to the Faberge family tradition, not even the Tsar knew what egg form they would take. The only stipulation was that each one should contain a surprise. The House of Faberge completed 50 imperial eggs, as we said earlier, total.
Mm-hmm.
50 imperial eggs for Alexander III to present to the Empress, and Nicholas present to his mother and his wife. So, like, it's pretty much these two ladies who are getting most of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of these, we know 43 to have survived. He had been doing this for a while. These like jeweled Easter eggs, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for like example, in 1883, before his coronation, Alexander III and Maria were given eggs, one of which contained a silver dagger and two skulls, which is pretty metal.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's not. I gotta say, maybe that's why they changed artisans. But like, the egg came with messages, including "Christ is risen." Okay, because it's Easter, fine. And "You may crush us, but we nihilists shall rise again."
That's
There
terrifying.
seems that seems like there's a story for another day there.
Indeed.
Anyway, before Easter of 1885 as well, his brother, the Grand Duke Vladimir Alexander. Oh boy, here we go. I
Alexandrovich.
suggested that Peter Carl Faberge create a jeweled egg. This type of egg is believed to have been inspired by an ivory hen egg that had been made for the Danish royal family in the 18th century. So this is, again, referring to the hen egg that he made for Maria, last name hard to say. 6 weeks later, the emperor made Faberge the supplier to the imperial court, following which the egg designs became more elaborate, as we said before. So once Faberge had approved the initial designs, the work was carried out by a team of craftsmen, among them being Mikhail Perkin, Henrik Wigstrom, and Eric August Kohlen. Names not as hard to say.
Correct. Beginning in 1887, the emperor apparently gave Carl Faberge complete freedom with regard to egg designs, which then became more and more elaborate. So, as we said, according to Faberge family tradition, not even the emperor knew what form they would take. The only stipulation was that each one should be unique and each should contain a surprise. Alexander III collaborated with Faberge on some of the designs to some extent. Upon the
Like,
death,
right, that makes sense. It's like,
yeah,
as an artist, right? Because I'm one of those too. I'm so many things. Oh, like that was one of my big problems sometimes, though. But like, yes, like even when you are commissioned, right? Like just like go nuts. They never really mean go nuts, right? It's like you got to have.
what is
And
your
when we look
vision?
at right, and it's like some of the eggs, I have a feeling like yes, you probably had some sort of direction. For example, like the coronation egg feels like you have to keep it on theme, right?
Yes.
Like, hey, I want something to do with my coronation. That's where I'll go with it. Or
And that
like,
makes sense.
hey, this year's a really important birthday for my only son. Could we do something that revolves around that? Like, that's not saying like what specifically to do, like, but like,
That's
um,
giving a theme. That's
right,
giving a
you
starting point.
know, right.
I got you. So, upon the death of Alexander III in 1894, his son, the next emperor, Nicholas II, followed this tradition and expanded it by requesting that there be 2 eggs each year, one for his mother, who was eventually given a total of 30 such eggs, and one for his wife, Alexandra, who received another 20. These series of
Now that
Easter,
makes sense.
yeah,
So now it makes sense though. Remember earlier when we are like, holy shit, like, Nicholas did a lot of eggs. That's why,
he was
because like
ordering
he's kind
2.
of doing double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was taking care of mom. He was carrying on the
Hmm.
tradition for dad, and that's kind of sweet when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Only so sweet though, because people are
Only so
starving.
much. Only so much. Correct. So, these series of Easter gift eggs are today distinguished from the other jeweled eggs Fabergé ended up producing by their designation as Imperial Easter eggs. The tradition continued until the October Revolution, when the entire Romanov dynasty was executed, and the eggs and many other treasures were confiscated by the interim government. The final 2 eggs were never delivered, nor were they paid for. So, although today the House of Fabergé is famed for the imperial Easter eggs, it made many more objects ranging from silver tableware to fine jewelry, which were also of exceptional quality and beauty. And until its departure from Russia during the Revolution, Fabergé's company became the largest jewelry business in the country. The St. Petersburg branch was made up of several workshops with the responsibility of overseeing each item from its design through all the manufacturing stages. The Moscow branch was run as a commercial center. Other branches were also established in Odessa, London, and Kiev. A total of about 500 people worked for the firm. That's impressive. We're expanding from
Yeah.
20 people to over 500.
And you know what this kind of reminds me of? I don't know. Have you heard of Mackenzie Childs?
Yes, I have.
So Mackenzie Childs, if for listeners who don't know, they're really famous for. It's very whimsical. It gives like Alice in Wonderland vibes, but like the checkerboard print and like all this furniture and decorative stuff and silverware and ceramics and all sorts of stuff, right? But
Mhm,
like it's like very like niche, like this specific style, right?
mhm.
And it's actually right nearby where I lived growing up. So in Aurora, New York, which is right off of Cayuga Lake. So just on the other side of where I went of the lake of roughly where I went to school. So, yeah, but like their stuff's also just crazy expensive. Probably not to Fabergé levels, but like it's like yeah, it's giving that energy of
Mhm,
like yes, they do the egg, but they also do X, Y, and Z. Like all
mhm.
the silverware, all this like stuff when you have like fancy pants stuff for people when they come over.
Exactly.
And yeah,
So, with the entire firm, it produced at least 150,000 items of jewelry, silver, and other items of fantasy, or up to an estimated 200,000 items from 1882 to 1917. That's a lot
that's
because
great for
this is
500 people. That's crazy.
that's this is handcrafted stuff. This is
I
like
know.
going
I'm
into
burnt
a
out.
jeweler. This is going into a jeweler and you want something that only exists in your mind, and they are taking it from your imagination to the physical thing being
Yeah.
in your hand. That's
Well, and that's
insane.
just the custom. That's just the custom stuff. That's not
Mm-hmm.
including the people who go in and go, "Oh, I'm just they. I don't even know what I'm looking for, but I know when I come in here, there's always something really unique." So they're just
Mm-hmm.
making shit too, you know. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
burnt out because 500 people divided by 200,000 handcrafted items.
That's insane.
That's so much.
That's so fucking
It's so much.
nuts.
And wow,
Mm-hmm.
good for them.
So Fabergé's work represented Russia at the 1900 World's Fair in Paris. As Carl Fabergé was a member of the jury, the House of Fabergé exhibited hors concours without competing. Nevertheless, the house was awarded a gold medal, and the city's jewelers recognized Fabergé as a maître. Additionally, France recognized Carl Fabergé within one of the most prestigious of French awards, appointing him a Knight of the Legion of Honor. Now, two of Carl's sons and his head workmaster were also honored. Commercially, the exposition was a great success, and the firm acquired a great many orders and clients.
Because they needed more of them. Those poor 500 people.
Those
They
poor
were like,
fuckers. Like,
like they didn't even compete and they won a medal. Like, oh no. Like, we didn't even know. Please stop.
I thought we were not competing.
They're like, think again. Get back get back in there.
Get back to work.
Oh. Um, so the Imperial eggs, of course, enjoyed great fame though, right? Like, because we don't remember them for their forks. We
That's
remember them for their eggs.
that is a fair statement. We don't remember them for their forts.
You know, I just have a hard time imagining that Fabergé spoon is going to go for 30 million.
I
But
mean, it would be hilarious if it was an egg spoon.
yes, love that. Um, so Fabergé was commissioned to make similar eggs for a few private clients as well. So not just the royals, right? This included the Duchess of Marlborough, the Rothschild family, and the Yusufovs. He also commissioned to make 12 eggs for the industrialist Alexander Kelch, though only 7 appear to have been completed. Another notable patron was the oil baron, as you do, Emmanuel Nobel, nephew of Alfred Nobel. Yes, that Nobel. In
Mm-hmm.
1930, remember, the first Nobel Peace Prize was given out to someone who made dynamite.
Correct.
In 1913, he commissioned an ice egg from Fabergé, though. That sounds right, though, because, like, you know, Nobel, Scandinavia, I mean, I guess, you
Yeah,
know,
I could see
it
it.
makes sense. Yeah. And it's not ice, it's diamond. Anyway, so the House of Fabergé was nationalized, though, by the Bolsheviks in 1918. In early October, Karl Fabergé left Petrograd, aka St. Petersburg, formerly known as St. Petersburg, soon to be Leningrad, right? And then I believe Stalingrad.
I think
Stalingrad might
so.
be another city. Any point, it's no longer St. Petersburg for a little while. R.I.P. St. Petersburg. Um, and you know, Fabergé got the fuck out of there. On the last diplomatic train for Riga. He had escaped Russia in September of 1918 in disguise, because we love this disguise moment here,
We're
as a
super secret
courier,
spies. Super secret,
super
sexy
secret,
spies.
sexy spies, under disguise as a courier for the British legation. It just, God, you know, like wild times. But sadly, it's like I'm so glad we don't have to do that kind of stuff today. Ooh, I don't know.
Mm.
So, but of course, the revolution didn't just stop there. There was also the revolution in Latvia. And that started in the middle of the following month. And Karl again fled for his life, this time to Germany. First to
Oh.
Bad Omburg and then to Wiesbaden. The Bolsheviks imprisoned. Meanwhile, he decides, girl,
He left without his
this
kids.
they were in the sweatshop. They
This
were like,
fucker right here.
he just bounced. Oh my god!
You're adults now.
Oh,
Save yourselves.
I'm sure there was more to it, but like, wow! I just, I'm just curious how he got out of there. You would think he would be more iconic, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's the face of the company, but oh well. Um, but poor old Agathon and Alex, they've been caught. So which apparently Agathon's a boy. Fun facts. We figured that out now.
Ta-da!
Initially, ta-da! Initially, Agathon, coolest name ever, was released to value the treasures seized from the imperial family, aristocrats, and wealthy merchants, and Faberge, among other jewelers. So they're like, cool, we're going to let you out if you just tell us what everything is worth.
Hmm.
But JK, he was imprisoned again when the Bolsheviks found it challenging to sell the treasures at Agathon's valuations. Which I love this. They're pissed that it's too. No one wants to buy it. It's too expensive. You
That's
kicked out all the rich people. Yeah, that's your whole
good
thing.
job, dumbass. Like, do you not understand how markets work? Obviously not.
Right, and like, like they think they do. And here's the thing: like, I know there's. I'm not a communist or anything myself, right? But like, I understand it. I understand the theory, but like, this is like right here, kind of like your red flag, not literally, kind of literally for them. Like y'all are trying, like that's the whole point of communism. Like
Mm-hmm.
this kind of shit wouldn't work, right? And like the idea of like everyone's kind of like, especially with this like more peasant uprising version of it, right? Everyone's broke. That was the problem. You had all these
Mm-hmm.
super, super rich people who could afford Faberge eggs that you just kicked out and overthrew or killed. Maybe rightfully so, maybe not. Whatever. The point just being that, like, you don't have the people there anymore who can afford them. What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing?
They are
Like,
trinkets, not something that you can just like sell.
right. And there was just, and you're like, well, Brandon, maybe they're just trying to sell them to someone outside the country. Well, there was this little thing called World War One. They didn't realize it was just one yet, but um, they were like, wait, what? World War One?
Because
What
it
do you
was the
mean?
war to
So
end all wars, wasn't it? That's
it
what it
was
was initially called. The
the
Great War.
Great War.
The
Right. And the
Great
thing
War.
is, during their little revolution, they done pissed off a lot of people because they backed out of the war.
Mm-hmm.
So even if people wanted to buy fancy, frivolous eggs, when no one did, because even rich fucks were dying in trenches, you done pissed off those people too.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was no market for any of this. And now they're pissed at him. Like
He
I told you
didn't
how
do
much it's
anything
worth. It's not my
wrong.
right. Which most of these people didn't. But like it's like brother, like you told me to tell you how much it's worth. It's not my fault you can't sell it. Like,
Comrade, that's not how this works.
right. I just like, oh, brother. um, so they got mad
Big mad.
and put him back in jail. So,
Indeed.
um, and part of this too, with Europe awash with Russian jewels, prices had fallen, right? Because you have to think too, the emigres leaving brought their jewels with them because that's essentially universal currency.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already a shit ton of jewels floating around Europe now. Like no one wants yours covered in blood. Um, so then there's Madame Faberge and her eldest son Eugene, which this fucker, he left his wife behind too.
Oh my god. This guy's a piece of work.
I kind of like I wish we knew more about this, but Madame Faberge and her eldest son Eugene avoided capture by escaping under the cover of darkest night through the snow-covered woods by sleigh and on foot. God, that is so Russian coded. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god.
Yeah. Towards the end of December of 1918, they crossed the border into safety in Finland, which, again, let's remember, Carl had bounced in September.
That's oh
This is
no.
December. Because I was just thinking, wait a minute, they have a sleigh in like September? Nope.
Nope. That's December. No. Divorce. Fucking divorce. No, even
Oh,
better,
I'm
even
going to give
better.
him the
We're
better.
going we're going into foreign territories. I don't have a husband. I'm not married.
Oh no.
We don't have databases for that shit.
I'm going to give benefit of doubt. Maybe it's the plan. Like he's super important. Get him out first. And then she could stay behind to try and salvage shit. Right? Like, so it's not total abandon wholesale. See if they can make it work. And it clearly didn't. That's
Mm,
maybe. Or he bounced. And he
I'm
said
gonna
good
say he
luck.
bounced. I'm gonna say he bounced. Just like bye.
Well, apparently they all was forgiven eventually. Because
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile in Germany, Karl had become seriously ill. And Eugene reached Wiesbaden in June of 1920. Jesus, he took his time. And
He
accompanied
did.
his father to Switzerland, where other members of the family had taken refuge. Um, so Fabergé died at the L'Hotel Bellevue in Lausanne, Switzerland, on the 24th of September of 1920. His family believed he died of a broken heart, which, okay, I could say depression. That could be a thing,
I mean,
right?
possibly like literally
I
going
could
from the
say,
highest highs and then sinking to like the lowest of lows.
yeah.
I could
Well,
see
I mean,
it.
some of that, but here's what I'm going to say. As an artist, right? Not even the wealth part of it, right? But to see everything you've ever worked for, your entire life, be reduced to nothing, to destroyed, right?
Yeah.
The people you worked for, who you probably had like a were intimate relationship with, dead
Yeah.
or at least missing. Like your entire life turned upside down. Like I could believe that being pretty heartbreaking, right? I
I
wish
could
he was
see
a
it.
little more heartbroken for his wife and kids, but like whatever. Um, Speaking of his wife, Augusta died in 1925. The two, well, holy crap, they were never reunited, girl,
What the fuck?
until 1929 when Eugene took his father's remains from Lausanne and buried them with his mother's grave in the cemetery du Grand Jas in Connay, France. So I guess he just never saw his wife again after he bounced.
That I could see. That I could see him
There's a
dying of a
story
broken
there.
heart. There is definitely okay, there's something there. I would like to dig
Or,
deeper.
well, yeah, but is it? Or like, did he bounce on his wife? Like, that's fuck. Like, you had
Hmm.
time. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just a
I don't
little
know.
weird.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
No.
So his wife died in January of 1925. And although Alexander managed to escape from prison when his friend bribed guards, Agathon failed in making his escape from the USSR until November 1927, when he, His wife Maria and son Oleg, together with 4 helpers, escaped by sleigh under cover of darkness across the frozen Gulf of Finland.
Yeah, like his
Agathon,
mom.
like his mom, Agathon
Like
and
his
his
mom.
family spent the rest of their lives in Finland. So
Probably for the best.
I like Agathon because he did not leave his wife or his baby behind.
Correct. Like we bring the child and we
We
bring
bring
the lady.
the baby, like we
We go
bring the
together.
spawn all together
I
as a
could
family unit.
the thing is I could understand if it was like the other way around. Like, hey, mom and baby got out of Dodge. When dad escapes prison, he meets up with them. Okay, fine.
I
Valid.
could see it.
Fine. That's fine. No one's gonna be an asshole here on this podcast to a mom trying to make sure her kid's safe.
Mhm.
It's the other way around that bothers me. It's just like, goddamn.
It does. It definitely does. Like I'm Carl has got the side eye right here.
I
I
don't know,
am appraising
Carl.
him. Carl, I don't know.
Much
Carl?
like he appraised jewelry. I don't know.
Hmm.
Hmm.
In 1924, Alexander and Eugène opened Faberge Eggs in Paris, where they had a modest success making the types of items that their father retailed years before. To distinguish their pieces from those made in Russia before the revolution, they used the trademark Faberge Paris, whereas the Russian company's trademark was just Faberge. They also sold jewelry and had a sideline in repairing and restoring items made by the original house of Faberge.
I mean, that makes sense. I feel like that's smart on their part, foresight,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, okay, they could have just kept saying Fabergé, but you're actually adding value, not necessarily to the Fabergé Paris stuff, but to the original Fabergé stuff by doing this, right? Because then
Correct.
people, when they get their hands on a Fabergé, they go, oh, this isn't a Fabergé Paris. This is the OG Fabergé,
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like they can sell that shit for more money.
But it also helps distinguish their artwork from their father's. So if their artwork did take off better,
Mm-hmm.
it
Fair.
allowed that. So it works both ways. It works both ways. So now we are after said revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
During business ventures in communist Russia during the 1920s, American oil tycoon Armand Hammer acquired many objects made by the original House of Fabergé, including Fabergé eggs. In 1937, Hammer's friend Samuel Rubin, owner of the Spanish Trading Corporation, which had imported soap and olive oil, closed his company because of the Spanish Civil War and established a new enterprise to manufacture perfumes and toiletries. Rubin registered his new firm in 1937 as Fabergé Inc. at Hammer's suggestion. In
Huh.
1943, Rubin registered the Fabergé trademark for perfume in the United States.
Uh-huh, shady lady. That
Very shady
shady
lady.
lady.
That's fucked up. That is taking the history of somebody else that literally you have nothing to do with. That's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So in
That's America.
that's America.
Well, welcome to America.
In 1945, the Fabergé family discovered that their name was being used to sell perfumes without their consent. A lengthy exchange between lawyers on both sides of the Atlantic ensued. In 1946, Rubin registered the Fabergé trademark for jewelry in the United States. This fucker right here.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. It's fucking
No,
America.
I'm not surprised, but
It's
it doesn't do anything to lessen the infuriation. I'm disgusted by this man.
I just know Americans, and I have a feeling like they're like, you got the Fabergés like we are outraged, and Ruben's like, oh well, let's go ask your dad. Oh wait, he's dead. Guess I can still use the name, buddy.
Oh my god.
He'll say things like pal and buddy.
Oh,
Ugh.
absolutely. Guy. In 1945. Well, my bad. Da, 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 da. So, an agreement was reached out of court in 1951 with the Fabergé family, whereby Reuben agreed to pay Fabergé NC the amount of $25,000 US dollars, equal to about $310,000 today, to use the Fabergé name solely concerning perfume.
Woof, that's shitty.
That's
That's a
really
shitty
shitty.
agreement.
That is a very shitty agreement.
Like, I feel like when you are the Fabergés, like fucking jewelers to the Russian Empire, and all you get is essentially a lump sum of today 300K. You
No,
can't even get a house with that.
no,
Like what the hell?
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, in 1964, Reuben, this sneaky little fucker, sold
Of course he did.
Fabergé Inc. for $26 million to George Berry and Rayette Incorporated, cosmetics company. Rayette changed its name in 1964 to Rayette Fabergé Incorporated, and then in 1971, the company's name was changed again to Fabergé Incorporated. In 1978, Michael J. Stryker filed for the patent rights for Fabergé jewelry in New York on behalf of Fabergé NC in Paris, but this attempt to license the jewelry brand failed.
That's so messed up, that whole situation. Like you're telling me
It's fucked.
like 13 years later, after you paid the actual family, like a little over 300K, you sold that company for 26 million of their money.
Yep.
It was like 25K that time, 36 million that time. That's absurd. I would have been so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God.
Here's the thing. I'm petty. I would make it my life's mission to make your life hell.
Just God. Ugh, such an American thing to do, though. Um,
Unfortunately,
from
yes.
nine, uh, from 1964 to 1984, under the direction of Barry, many well-known and successful products were launched by this Fabergé Incorporated. Brut became the best-selling cologne in the world at that time and remains available worldwide today. In 1967, actor and businessman Cary Grant was appointed creative consultant and in 1968 a member of the board of directors of the company. Actor Roger Moore became a board member in 1970. Barry established Fabergé's filmmaking division, Brut Productions, in 1970 and put together an Academy Award winning film titled A Touch of Class in 1973, as well as some other films. So apparently we're getting into film now too. Just
Love that for
um
us.
mhm. Barry launched the Bebe fragrance in 1976, which I feel like I've definitely seen and heard of that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um which is in its first year became Fabergé's largest selling women's fragrance worldwide. Actress and model Margot Hemingway received an $1 million contract to promote the perfume Bebe by Fabergé in an advertising campaign. Bebe received 2 awards from Fragrance Foundation for its launch. Most successful introduction of a women's fragrance in popular distribution. That's a very wordy award.
Mm-hmm.
And best advertising campaign for a women's fragrance. By 1984, the company had expanded its personal care products. The company also bought other firms and products, including Delons and Breast Care, a breast cancer screening device. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, God.
God, we're profiting off of this, aren't we?
Of course.
Of course. In that same year, Israeli financier Meshulam Riklis, I don't know, privately owned Riklis Family Corporation acquired Fabergé for $670 million. And the original Fabergés still got that sweet, sweet 25K.
Mm.
Many Fabergé products, including the original breast device, Delons, were discontinued. The company launched McGregor by Fabergé Cologne the same year. New product lines were introduced, including women's, men's, and children's apparel under the trademarks Billy the Kid, Scoreboard, and Wonder Knit. God, Fabergé's rolling in his grave. You know, like
Oh, it's all of the bad.
it just gets weird, sleazy. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's something weird about it.
Mm-hmm.
In 1886, Mark Goldston was named president of Fabergé and was principally responsible for targeting and acquiring Elizabeth Arden Company from Eli Lilly and Company for $725 million in 1986, turning Fabergé into a $1.2 billion firm.
I hate capitalism. Okay.
And again, let's just remember 1986.
Mm-hmm.
When did we say? So 1951. And so, 40, like not even 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
35 years, like they are now worth 1.2 billion after just taking the name, just
Just
hijacking it.
stealing the name and running with it.
Right. Just,
So in
uh,
1989, an American subsidiary of Unilever bought Fabergé Incorporated, along with Elizabeth Arden, for 1.55 billion US dollars. The company was renamed Elida Fabergé. The deal now placed Unilever at equal first place with L'Oreal in the World Cosmetics League, up from fourth place. Unilever registered the Fabergé name as a trademark across a wide range of merchandise internationally. It granted licenses to third parties to make and sell a range of products, ranging from custom jewelry to spectacles, under the Fabergé name. How?
oh my God. That
Mm-hmm.
they were only allowed to do the perfume, Courtney.
I know, I know. That was the agreement. Only perfume. But it also continued to sell Fabergé branded perfumes and toiletries. Now, in pop culture, the name Fabergé became synonymous with the ultimate in luxury when the Forbes family Fabergé collection was widely publicized in the mid 1980s. I mean, in 89, the German jewelry manufacturer Victor Mayer was given the exclusive licensing rights to produce heirloom quality Fabergé eggs, jewelry, and watches in 18 karat gold and platinum with gemstones, vitreous enamel, and diamonds. In collaboration with Fabergé expert Geza von Habsburg, new designs for eggs and jewelry were marketed worldwide. The first contemporary Fabergé jewelry and egg collection was presented to the alleged heir to the Russian crown, Grand Duke Vladimir Kirillовich of Russia, in Munich, Germany in 1991. The license with the Victor Mayer Company ended in 2009 for jewelry and in 2012 for watches. From 1989 to 2001, Unilever granted further licenses for Fabergé products to Limoges, and the Franklin Mint for perfumes, dolls, and other items. All licensed products of the time have 10 identical trademarks or stamps. A Russian eagle with the words below: Fabergé, Paris, London, New York. That that fucks me up because Fabergé
Yeah, but
Paris does not belong to them.
no, at least I don't think so. Did they buy them out at this point? I don't know.
It makes me angry.
Hmm.
But Lever Fabergé was formed in the UK early in 2001 through the merger of two long-established Unilever companies, Lever Brothers and Elida Fabergé. The new
Okay.
company, Lever Fabergé, owned hundreds of cosmetics, household and other brands, including Dove, Impulse, Shore, Lynx, Organics. There's a lot. Okay. This meant that the Lever Fabergé name appeared on a range of household products, from bleach to toiletries.
I just want to put this in perspective, okay? In 100 years, we went from being jewelers, and but I feel like jewelry and like silverware and stuff are like adjacent, right? And like the Fabergé eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
To now selling bleach and toiletries, as well as those things. Like
Mm-hmm.
just wild. Like Fabergé from his grave is like, oh, my product is a bar of soap being used to wash some guy's butt cheeks. Good to know. Like, just wow.
Mm-hmm.
And like, from what I'm gathering, his family, no access to any of that.
Gross.
Yeah. So, in a complicated series of events and personal professional vendettas between the Russian oligarch and Fabergé egg collector, which we will talk about a little bit later, I guess as we're talking about now, Victor Vexelberg and his business partner, Brian Gilbertson, the former CEO of Vexelberg's Siberian Urals Aluminum Company, or Sol. Sol?
Sual.
Weird way to say it. Sual. I hope we leave that in there. Swole?
Sual.
Swole? Swole. The Fabergé brand changed hands several times. Gilbertson, who received a controversial package worth up to $38 million when he resigned from BHP Billiton in 2003 after just 6 months as CEO, and Vexelberg had discussed starting an investment business together after Gilbertson was appointed CEO of Swole. They set up an initial investment joint venture, a complex Cayman Island structure to be funded by Renova Group and managed by Gilbertson. God, how far away have we gotten at this point from the plot?
Everything. We have gotten
Jesus.
away from everything.
We
Everything
went
that the
from like,
Fabergé eggs was
yeah,
destroyed by these fuckers.
yeah, it's just like we went from like artisans and artistry and stuff, and like these 500 guys who were fucking stuck building like 200,000 different jewelry pieces to like where it mattered, like it was the artistry, to just pure capitalism hellscape at this point. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like we will sell you the right to write this name on shit. Well,
Welcome to America.
so there's this complex Cayman Island structure to be funded by Renova Group and managed by Gilbertson. However, the plan went awry in 2006. I don't know. As the joint venture negotiated to buy Fabergé's brand name from Unilever. Vixelberg, a collector of Fabergé Imperial eggs, who currently owns 9 of the jewel-encrusted creations, having acquired the Forbes family collection in 2004 for a reported $100 million,
Good God.
insists insisted that one of his companies, as opposed to the joint venture, get title to the brand. However, the benefits of reviving the brand would stay within the joint venture fund. In 2004, Vexelberg had purchased the most extensive Fabergé collection in existence from the Forbes family for £50 million, shortly before it was sold at auction, leaving him with the most extensive Fabergé jewelry collection, but not with the Fabergé brand name. So then we move on to Fabergé Limited. On the 3rd of January of 2007, Hollinghurst Resources, now Gemsfields, an investment advisory firm based in London and of which Gilbertson was a partner, announced a Hollinghurst portfolio company had acquired Unilever's entire global portfolio of trademarks. Because now we're getting into this weird language where honestly, I just usually blank out. Like you're buying portfolios and stocks and
because
licenses and blah, 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 blah,
because all it
blah.
is intangibles. It is quite literally
Mm-hmm.
intangibles.
I'm just like, I'm not a stock bro. So I'm just like, this might excite some people, but this is probably the worst part of this episode for me. But it's like, I feel like it's important, right? Like I could have left it at Fabergé being dead. But it's like there is like this legacy. It's like, why do we still know this name?
Why is it
This is
still
why.
around? Yeah.
And yet it's also in the weirdest places you would never think of.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so yeah. The trademarks, licenses, and associated rights were acquired by a newly constituted company, Fabergé Limited, which was registered in all places, the Cayman Islands. I'm sure it's a tax reason.
Oh,
You
thousand
know, it
percent.
just feels like offshore accounts kind of stuff. Again, bro stuff that I don't know or care about, but whatever. In October 2007, it was announced that the company intended to restore Fabergé to its position as the leading purveyor of enduring and endearing personal possessions. Okay, sure. Sorry, it's just like I'm jaded AF.
Oh, well, you kind of have to be with the behavior of everybody thus far. Because
Yeah, it's
my
like
ass.
it'll be done in a sweatshop in a factory somewhere with no soul. If they can get AI on it, they will. Furthermore, it's
Unfortunately, you are very correct.
Furthermore, it announced the reunification of the Fabergé brand and the Fabergé family. Holy crap! So they never did see that answers our question from earlier.
It does.
That's fucked. Well, hey, they're finally gonna let the family back in on it. Honestly, I want to know why. Like, what was the benefit there?
I wonder if one of these guys married to one of them.
I don't know.
And it's just like, honey, my family name.
Mm-hmm. So they announced they're going to reunify with the Fabergé family, with Tatiana Fabergé and Sarah Fabergé, both great granddaughters of Carl, becoming the founding members of the Fabergé Heritage Council, a division of Fabergé Limited, which was to offer counsel to the new company. In September of 2009, Fabergé Limited launched its first collection of jewelry. In December that year, it opened a boutique in Geneva. So it does maybe come off as like maybe they're going back to their roots a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? At least this section of the company is, right? By March of 2007, only one of the licenses initially granted by Unilever remained in existence. And then on the 6th of July 2011, the company launched 2 collections of egg pendants, including a dozen egg pendants. These were the first pieces to be made by Fabergé since the family was reunited in 1917. So that's pretty intense. It's been
That
100 years
is.
since they've made these.
That's it. Yeah, that is an intense thing.
It's like kind of a cool moment. I won't lie.
It is.
It's like maybe we are going to end this on a decent note. I doubt it, but we'll see.
We'll try.
We'll try, guys. In November 2011, Fabergé's items were being sold in fine jewelry room at Harrods in London, Knightsbridge, and later in the month, Fabergé opened a boutique in Grafton Street in the heart of London's Mayfair area. By May of 2012, Fabergé opened another boutique on New York's Madison Avenue.
In 2012, Gilbertson and a related trust on the one hand, Renova Group, Vexelberg and Vladimir Kutnestov, met in a court in the Cayman Islands over the original acquisition of the Fabergé brand name from Unilever. The
Oh,
claim.
these fuckers. I knew it. They weren't working with
Mm-hmm.
them. The Fabergés were just trying to get their goddamn name back. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, actually, you Fabergés can't be using your own name. Okay.
Yep.
I'll be quiet now.
Yep. The claim by Vexelberg to obtain damages from Gilbertson, he did not claim ownership of the trademark, was dismissed in court. The judge called the lawsuit a personal fight between Gilbertson and Vexelberg. In January 2013, Faberge Limited was sold to the gem mining company Gemfields for 142 million new shares in Gemfields PLC, with a value of $90 million at completion of the transaction. After the transaction, Gilbertson, Pollinghurst, and its co-investors held some 74% of Gemfields.
These fuckers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. They got their fucking hands on it again. Damn it.
They did. Accounts filed with Companies House in the UK on the 25th of October 2015 show that Faberge Limited in the UK, the principal trading entity, lost $500,000 for the year ending in the 30th of June 2015. The accounts reveal that a significant spend in research and development was made during the year in respect to the new timepiece collections. These were launched during the year. In November of 2015, Faberge won a
Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève
award, the Ladies' High Mechanical Prize.
In 2017, the head office of Faberge jewelry brand. Oh my God, I said things in French for too long. I'm like, jewelry. So now, like, the English words are starting to get Frenchified.
It's just
All
a
right.
little spicy.
a little spice. In 2017, the head office of Faberge's jewelry brand, which is located in London, noticed Mariana Voinova in photographic project for L'Official Ukraine. Mariana was invited as an ambassador to the jewelry house the same year. I almost read that as L'Official Ukraine. I'm like, oh, it's French. It's Ukraine. It's like, shit. I got code switch. Got to go back. On the 3rd of October 2017, the jewelry house Faberge unveiled both the male and female ranges in its advertising campaign. In 2020, Faberge created the Emerald Isle collection in collaboration with the Craft Irish Whiskey Company, a collection of jewelry and other items. Marcus Moore of Victor Mayer created the Faberge egg for that collection. The value of the collection is estimated to be about $2 million. And then finally wrapping all this up, in 2025, the tech entrepreneur Sergey Mosnov, which of course it's a tech, god damn it. I don't know, it's giving Elon Musk, purchased the rights to the Faberge brand. I know. Purchased the rights from the Faberge brand from Gemfields to a deal worth $50 million. So my only thought is maybe this guy, because he sounds, Sergey's pretty fucking Russian. Like, maybe we're going to buy back some of this heritage. Maybe.
I'm only hoping. My fingers are crossed.
It's still not the Faberge family, it sounds like, but...
Oh, potentially not. Because, distance, time. We don't know if it's, a son of a daughter. Last names change.
Right. And, yeah. But now we're done with that. The long story of it is the Faberge family were a family of artisans, right? They worked for the imperial family. Then the revolution happened. Carl got the fuck out of town, forgot his family, forgot to meet up with them. He died of a broken heart, apparently, not realizing his family was still alive. Like, he's like, it's like, it gives that like meme where, like, it's been, where it's that like old lady saying she missed. Yeah. It's like, I'm right here.
Stop telling everyone I'm dead.
When I'm dead. It's giving that. Like, Augusta's like, I'm still here, bitch. You forgot. You got you again right here. And then everyone forgot Agathon. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm like,
poor Agathon. Like, Agathon is my new hero. I like Agathon.
So We need to like start issuing like awards during the season, like for like the poor people who like don't. It's just like the like best like unsupported actor. Like, God.
No, we'll start doing that in the recap.
Mhm. So so then Carl kicks the bucket, and then it's just pure capitalistic hellscape until modern times.
Still ongoing today.
Yay! So we are transitioning now from that to more fun stuff for the last part of this. So we're going to start talking about it's more art history related at this point. And we're
Yes.
Courtney, tell us about some of these famous eggs.
So the first hen egg, or jeweled hen egg, is an imperial Fabergé egg. It became the first in a series of more than 50, made under the supervision of Peter Carl Fabergé for the Russian imperial family. It was delivered to Tsar Alexander III and given to his wife, Maria Fyodorovna, in 1885. The Tsarina enjoyed the egg so much that Alexander III quickly placed a standing order with Fabergé to create a new egg for his wife every Easter thereafter, requiring only that each egg be unique and that it contain some kind of surprise within it. This particular egg is now a part of the permanent collection of the Fabergé Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia. While Fabergé was the owner of his workshop, and while all of the eggs produced there are considered Fabergé eggs, Fabergé himself is not known to have ever participated in the actual construction of any of them, even the first. The crafting of
Yeah,
the
that's kind
first.
of cool.
It is.
That's kind of wild. Yeah. You would have thought at least the first one,
Something.
before it was a big shot. Yeah.
Go figure.
Oh. Hmm.
So the crafting of the first imperial egg is instead attributed to Eric Cullen of Fabergé's workshop. It is made of gold, completely coated with opaque white enamel to look like a real egg. A thin band of gold where the two halves of the shell are joined is visible around the middle of the egg. The two halves of the outer shell fit together in a bayonet-style fitting which opens when twisted to reveal the egg's surprise. A round yolk of gold with a matte finish. This yolk itself opens to reveal a vari-colored gold hen set with ruby eyes. The hen is hinged on the tail feathers, which allows it to also open up to reveal still two further surprises: a gold and diamond replica of the imperial crown and a tiny ruby pendant that was suspended within it on a chain, unfortunately both of which now are lost. In the 19th century, Russian Orthodox Christians held Easter as the most important day of the year. Following a strict fast throughout all of Great Lent, Easter was a day of celebration of Christ's resurrection. To celebrate this holiday, Tsar Alexander III's brother, the Grand Duke Vladimir Alexandrovich, ordered Peter Fabergé to create an Easter surprise for the Tsarina. Correspondence between the Tsar and his brother dated to March 21st of 1885 indicates the Grand Duke relayed the Tsar's desires and instructions for the gift to Fabergé rather than the Tsar himself supervising the crafting of the egg. Amid terrorist attempts on the imperial family's lives, the Tsar wanted to give his wife something that would take her mind off of the worries for Easter of 1885.
So hold up. I love that detail so much right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because these terrorist attacks, they're brutal. Okay. Like, these are direct assassination attempts, typically using like pipe bombs tossed under their carriage, if I remember correctly. Like, imagine that, right? Imagine that you're with, your life partner, whatever, husband, whatever. You're going down the street, Courtney, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And someone tries to bomb the fuck out of your car and kill you and your family. And multiple attempts of this. And you're stressed the fuck out. This is before Xanax, okay, or anything.
No, we've got
And
harder
to make
drugs
it
going
up
on
to
right now.
you, and your husband goes, "You know what'll help her? An egg." I mean, I guess she liked them, but I mean, I guess
That is
people.
that is
I
a
don't know
very
if that will get
straight
much.
man thing to say.
I
I
just, I just.
I mean,
Yeah,
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm
there's like
wrong.
this show like where someone's like they got the same thing every year for this like his wife's birthday, and then it turns out that like she never liked them or whatever. He's like, I thought you liked them, and she's like, you thought I liked them. Like I just yeah, you made it a tradition. Like I never told you I like these.
Oh my
It's just
god.
like this is the vibe it's getting. It's
It
like
is very much so.
and so then it makes me think of like when her son later gets her these eggs. He's just every time brought back to when she almost died. Why does
Yeah,
grandmama have like a haunted look?
Papa, did you give Grandmama her egg?
It's, what's wrong with grandmama? She hasn't stopped staring at the egg for 6 hours.
When Fabergé created this egg, he was inspired by one the Tsarina knew from her childhood as a princess of Denmark's royal court. The egg, still in the Danish royal collection, is made of ivory instead of gold, has a ring instead of a pendant inside, and dates to the 18th century. Fabergé undoubtedly chose the design because the Tsarina would have recognized the design from her youth.
And you know, like she says someone I do know a bit about her. Her story is pretty fascinating, but now it makes sense. Like I guess I didn't think too hard about. It. I'm like, oh, okay, so he saw this egg thing. They do Easter eggs here at the Russian royal court, and he just, oh, I remember seeing this egg, in
Mm-hmm.
Denmark. But no, I forgot. She's a Danish princess, and her dad was like nouveau royal, like new
Mm-hmm.
royal. So like that's a whole thing in of itself. And she, I guess, really she had a good like loving family, which is
Mm-hmm.
unusual for the time period. So that okay, that makes sense, and that could be a comfort piece. Now it's
Potentially.
like,
Reminding her of
yeah, it kind of is.
her good childhood.
Yeah, and how shitty this place is now that she lives in. But
Oh. Oh dear.
oh, oh.
So the design delighted both the Tsar and Tsarina so much that Alexander III ordered one for the next Easter and granted Fabergé permission to bear the title supplier to the imperial court with the right to bear the state coat of arms in his shop's sign.
Woo,
That's big.
fancy.
Very
Yeah.
fancy.
So the Tsarina was apparently so impressed and delighted by this Easter gift from her husband. The egg was kept in the Anichov Palace until the 1917 revolutions. At that time, the revolutionaries then seized the first hen egg, along with most of the other imperial eggs, and sent it to the Armory Palace in the Kremlin. A London dealer named either Derek or Frederick Barry purchased the egg from the Russian officials around 1920, presumably after Agathor or Agathon was
Imprisoned.
again.
Again.
Again. So, and this was done probably in either Berlin or Paris. Christie's of London then sold the egg as Lot 55 of the Barry collection. I wonder if related to Madame, like, Barry of fame.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting. Like, do Barry?
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if there's a connection there.
Maybe.
I mean, she also likes sparkly things. So this was sold for £85 or $430, which is kind of insane. After the month, I was like, "Am I reading this right? Not 85 million. It's 85.
85
85.
pounds. But also,
Oh,
that's time period. Time period.
that's just interesting to me. To Mr. Alfred Susan Taylor in 1934. Taylor was made Lord Grantchester in 1955, and the egg formed part of the Grantchester estate when both Lord and Lady Taylor died within the month of one another in 17. 17. They went back in time to die in 1976.
Oh
Uh,
Lord.
but that's also like, now that's a story there too. Like, that seems sad. Like, what's about that? Like, they died within a month of each other. That's a both romantic and sad way to go.
Indeed.
Lavielle Roussy of New York acquired the egg from the estate and sold it together with the resurrection egg in Forbes magazine collection in 1978 to Victor Vekselberg, the one who spent lots and lots of money on this. He purchased the first egg along with those 8 other imperial eggs from Forbes together with that entire Faberge collection that we mentioned before. Vekselberg then returned the eggs to Russia, where they are now on display in the Faberge Museum in St. Petersburg. So that's something. So now
That's
everyone can see
something.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's also
Mm-hmm.
a tax write-off and
Oh yeah,
something
yeah.
to yeah.
Well, that would be America. We don't know how Russia works, and this was Soviet Union.
Yeah, it's still
I don't
interesting.
know.
I'm gonna
It's
look at
like
any of
I
them
know,
with skepticism.
I know. There's always imperialism or something involved, but
Indeed.
it's like also how do you get his money? Who knows?
Mm.
So the next egg we're going to talk about is called the hen with the sapphire pendant egg, or egg with hen in basket. So this was, again, another Imperial Fabergé egg, one in a series of 52 jeweled eggs, blah, 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 blah. We've said this before. It was created in 1886 for Alexander III of Russia, who presented it to his wife, again, Empress Maria Feodorovna, because I can't say it right and she's my enemy. It is one of 6 imperial eggs. French is Courtney's enemy. Russian apparently is mine.
Fyodorovna.
See, and I'm just like, parlez-vous français?
Yeah, I'll take the Slavic. You can take the French. How about that?
Wait, d'accord. All right, so it's one
No.
of the 6 imperial eggs that are currently lost. So this is what's going to make this one different, because it gone.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, the exact design of this egg is not known, as there are no known photographs or illustrations of the egg. And the written descriptions of the egg sometimes conflict with one another. The present is described as, quote, a hen of gold and rose diamonds taking a sapphire egg out of a nest. In the Imperial Archive, dated from February 15th, 1886, or April 24th, 1886, because they had a weird calendar thing going on around then. The sapphire egg was loosely held, apparently, in the hen's beak. The hen and the basket were both made of gold, studded with hundreds of rose-cut diamonds. The archive of the Russian Provisional Government describes the hen as being silver, though, on a stand of gold, though this description is probably an error since the orders from the 1886 Tsar egg specifically stated the present was to be made of gold. The surprise was not documented. Of course it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a surprise forever. We'll never know. And it's, of course, unlikely to be discovered, as of the egg is just gonzos. The sapphire pendant egg was sent to Tsar Alexander III on April 5th of 1886 from the Fabergé workshop, and the egg was presented to the Tsar Rina Fedorovna, God damn it,
Fedorovna.
Maria, that lady, on April 13th of the same year. The egg was housed in the palace as well until the revolution, like the rest of them. The last documented location of the egg is from the archive of the Provisional Government's inventory of 1922, when the egg was being held at the Armory Palace of the Kremlin. It is not known whether the egg was just simply lost or, more than likely, in my opinion, currently in private hands, because that just tends to be the way it goes.
Unfortunately. So the next egg we're going to talk about is the imperial coronation egg. It is, of course, a jeweled Faberge egg made under the supervision of the Russian jeweler Carl Faberge. In 1897, in 1897 by Faberge Atelier, Mikhail Perkin, and Henrik Wigstrom. The egg was made to commemorate Tsarina Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. The coronation of Tsar Nicholas II and his spouse was the catalyst for the imperial coronation egg's creation to celebrate the historical event. The coronation on May 14th of 1896 was a day of jubilance and pride in the Romanovs, celebrated by throngs of spectators. The Russian nobility and guests gathered on the eastern or okay. End scene. The Russian nobility and guests gathered on the Eastern Orthodox day of Dormition, the feast of death and the body ascension to the heaven of the Virgin Mary inside the Dormition Cathedral for the actual coronation. The throne of the Tsar, the former throne of Michael I of Russia, was inset with 870 diamonds, rubies, and pearls. The throne of the Tsarina, the famous ivory throne of Ivan the Great, was also inset with a vast collection of jewels and rare gemstones. A gold
Ivan the
miniature.
Great is also
Go ahead.
Ivan the Great, also known as Ivan the Terrible.
Yes.
Translates to the same thing.
Anytime you are called the Great, yeah.
I mean, so like, all right, here's the thing. The word that I guess from I understand that they use for Ivan, it's like technically translates to like the awesome in the actual term it originally meant, right? Like awesome. Now we think it's like awesome, dude. You know, not like awesome might. You know, like awesome is kind of neutral, where it could be like a villain could, you know, super bad guy could be awesome in might, but a good person could be awesome in might, right? So like,
yes, it's more of
Ivan,
fame versus infamy.
yeah, and like Ivan the Terrible, known for beating the shit out of his kid to death on accident. Hmm. But like, but like, but
Dad of the
also
year.
unified Russia. So like, could be
Questionable.
both.
Questionable.
Versus like when we think of like in like when we're translating into like the West, right? It's like Ivan the Terrible, which terrible could also be good, weirdly enough. Anyway, it's like Ivan the Terrible versus like Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, right? Which arguably both also did atrocities. But like and bad stuff. So
yes, they did.
But it's like it's a different connotation. So typically in the West, we don't call Ivan the Great. We call him the Terrible. So if you're like, who's this Ivan the Great guy? It's the same as the
Same
Ivan the
dude.
Terrible guy.
Same
dude.
All right.
Same dead kid. I mean, to be fair, Peter the Great also killed his kid. So like,
family tradition. Oh, God. Right. So the gold miniature coach, which is removable from the interior of the coronation egg, is a replica of Catherine the Great's gold coach from 1793, used to transport the last Romanov rulers from ceremony to ceremony on the coronation week. Another artifact used in the coronation from the reign of Catherine was the imperial crown of Russia, a diamond crown made by Jérémie Posier in 1762. The egg was first given to Tsarina Alexandra of Imperial Russia on Easter of 1897. The egg was displayed in the Empress's apartment at the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, resting in a jeweled carriage. Upon the fall of the Romanov dynasty, the egg was confiscated by the provincial government in 1917 and was listed among the treasures removed from the Anichkov Palace. It was then dispatched to the Kremlin and finally transferred to the Sovnarkom in 1922 for sale.
The egg was then purchased in 1927 by Emanuel Snowman for Wartski, a family owned firm of art and antique dealers in London. The egg was then sold to the collector Charles Parsons in 1934 and was acquired by Wartski again in 1945 and remained with the company until early 1979. In March of 1979, the egg was then sold to Malcolm Forbes
Mm,
for again for
again.
um for a nice cool US 2.16 million, along with the Lilies of the Valley for Forbes. God, Lilies of the Valley Faberge egg. Then in 2004, fast forward quite a bit, 9 of those Faberge eggs, including the coronation egg, the hen egg, all the different eggs, were sold by the auction house that we talked about earlier. Blah 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 blah. Um, Sotheby's announced that more than 180 Fabergé art pieces, including 9 of those Fabergé eggs, had been withdrawn from the auction and privately sold to that Vexelberg guy. Um, and so, as we described earlier, that was that Russian Israeli businessman and Russian oligarch. And he the official selling price of the coronation egg to Vexelberg was never publicly disclosed by Sotheby's, fueling much speculation until in 2013 BBC4 documentary, Vexelberg revealed he had spent just over 100 million purchasing those 9 eggs,
Insane.
which are which are now in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
So then we are on to the next egg, the Uspensky Cathedral egg, or the Moscow Kremlin egg, is a jeweled Easter egg made under the supervision of Russian jeweler Peter Karl Fabergé in 1906 for Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. I will say this egg is so crazy, you almost don't even recognize it's an egg.
Yes. I
It's
did not
kind of
recognize it was
crazy.
an egg the first time you showed it to me. I said, what?
Yeah. If you're just like looking past it, like like, and you were just kind of speeding through, you would almost miss it. Like, I mean, yeah, like once you're like, oh, it's Fabergé egg. Oh yeah, there's the egg, but like it's buried in there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, but yeah. It was of course presented to the Tsarina Alexandra, and it's currently held in the Kremlin Armory Museum in Moscow. And it has one of the few. It was one of the few Imperial Fabergé eggs that was never sold after the Russian Revolution. And I think if you look at it, you'll kind of see why. So,
Yeah.
we'll yeah, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Um, the Moscow Kremlin egg is by far the largest of the Fabergé eggs and was inspired by the architecture of Dormishin's Cathedral in Moscow, also known as Uspensky in Moscow. This cathedral was where all the Tsars of Russia were crowned, including Nicholas II himself, as we just said during the last egg.
Mm-hmm. The cathedral dome in white opalescent vitreous enamel is removable and remarkably crafted in and the remarkably crafted interior of the church can be seen. Its carpets, tiny enameled icons, and high altar on an oval glass plate are made visible through 4 triple windows, surmounted by a gold cupola and flanked by 2 square, 2 circular stylized turrets. The former based on the Spassky Tower. The tower bears the coat of arms of the Russian Empire and the coat of arms of Moscow inset with chiming clocks. It stands on a crenellated gold base in an octagonal white onyx plinth designed as a pyramid and built of more smaller pyramids. The surprise in this egg is music. The base of the egg contains a gold music box that plays 2 cherubim chants. Traditional Easter Traditional Easter hymns can be played when a clockwork mechanism is wound up by a gold key. One of the hymns is Ishe Kevru- Kevrumri? Kevruvimi. Kevruvimi
Mm-hmm.
is Ishe Kevruvimi. Cherubic Hymn number 7 by D. Porsnyansky, a favorite hymn of Nicholas II. The egg commemorates the return to Moscow of the royal couple, Nicholas II and Alexandra, in 1903. They had tended to avoid the historical capital due to its ill-omened association with a riot during Nicholas's coronation, where hundreds of Muscovites were crushed to death. The
I
egg
mean,
it's
ill omen? Is it really
yeah,
an omen when you just done fucked up? Like you're avoiding it because you done fucked up. It,
learn
mm,
crowd control. That is
yeah,
kind of one of those things.
yeah.
The egg itself was supposed to be presented in 1904 as engraved at the foot in white enamel on a round gold plate is the date. But the delivery was delayed because of the Russo-Japanese War from 1904 to 1905. This was followed by the assassination in the Kremlin of Nicholas's favorite uncle and brother-in-law, Grand Duke Sergei Alexandrovich.
So, and just a fun fact about Uncle Sergey, kind of the reason that whole thing happened in Moscow.
Oh, guaranteed.
No, for sure. No, it was. He didn't really like or care about peasants. So he didn't guarantee safety.
Yikes.
So yeah, it was like essentially these coronation things, right? Like this is what this is all a part of, or like it was like wedding gifts, something like that. And the point was that it was they essentially were giving out like free stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and there wasn't like enough stalls.
Oof.
So and like the ground's like really muddy and shit, and so essentially a riot, like something happened. People got trampled to death.
Yeah.
It was real bad news bears. Real bad news bears.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Gotcha.
And he was the whole reason behind it because there was a point where someone's like, hey, maybe we should invest in like proper like venue stuff, like proper setup. And he's like, no,
How about nah? Yep.
it'll be fine.
Got you. So instead, the egg was only presented for Easter in 1906. The egg was kept in the maple room in the Alexander Palace. Now, this next one, we are shifting gears because this is the unfinished constellation egg. So it was unfinished for 1917. It was the Easter egg designed under the supervision of, again, Carl Faberge for the last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, as the Easter gift to his wife. It was the last imperial Faberge egg to be designed. The egg was due to be completed and delivered to the Tsar on Easter 1917. Before the egg was delivered, however, the February Revolution took place, and Tsar Nicholas was forced to abdicate on the 15th of March.
So close.
So
So, so close. So according to according to Franz Beerbaum, Faberge's workshop manager, the egg was conceived as a clock in the form of a celestial globe of dark blue glass, encircled by rotating dial, held above a billowing rock crystal cloud, surmounted by silver cherubs. Now, some of this is they get some of it done, right? So you can see some of this, and unlike that sapphire one, the
mhm.
drawing for the ultimate design is also available. So we have this like glimpse of what could be, right? Um, so there's going to be these silver cherubs, and the whole thing is supported by a nephrite pedestal. The globe was to be decorated with diamond-studded engravings of the constellation under which Tsarevich Alexei was born. So that is the poor little boy with the hemophilia.
Mhm.
So The work began on the egg, but then in 1917, that pesky revolution had happened. And, you know, there was no more Tsar. So, and then they were dead. So,
And then they were dead.
then they were dead. Also, Carl had bounced. He was
Leaving his
gone.
family behind.
He was like, bye.
I'm gonna
Um,
die of a
so
broken
then,
heart.
sure. This, in 1927, I sound good. In 1925, the egg's last owner, Faberge's second son, Agathon, man, he was able to hold on to that thing the whole time.
Because it was
That's kind
unfinished,
of
probably.
yeah, but like he's in prison too. That's
Mm-hmm.
honestly impressive.
It is.
God, where was he hiding that? It's pretty big.
I see your insinuation and I raise you a what the fuck.
Agathon, our hero, he laid that egg all the way in Finland. Um, it's about to get worse
Oh
because
no.
he, quote unquote, delivered several dozen Fabergé pieces. So, like he's laying a baker's dozen.
Oh god.
It's like, God, this guy looks pregnant. It's like full of 12 Fabergé eggs, like several dozen. So no, it's terrible. That's not true. There's no, as far as I'm aware of, there was no rectal storage of Fabergé eggs.
It's the natural pocket. Um
This is why we have an explicit warning.
this is
Um,
exactly what
so Agathon, hero of this story, potential butt smuggler, delivered several dozen Fabergé pieces to the Academy. This guy named Alexander Firstman. I'm done with these big words. I'm done. Among the, I'm done with the real big words. Among these was the unfinished piece, comprising two halves of a dark blue egg of cobalt glass, as well as the unfinished base of rock crystal that had already been made up to look like clouds. The clock dial and the cupids mentioned, unfortunately, were never found, potentially because they were never done.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they broke off inside poor Agathon, but we'll never know. Every once in a while, if you got real close to him, like if he got, so you were sitting next to him on the couch and he got up, you'd hear this faint tick, 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 tick.
No, and now all I can think is a cuckoo clock. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Of the bone. And he became a Fabergé egg, and that was the surprise. We're bad people.
We have way too much fun.
Anyway, so Fabergé's eggs have acquired a cult status in the art world and popular culture, as they have been featured in exhibitions, films, TV series, documentaries, cartoons, publications, and the news. They have become symbols of splendor, power, and wealth of the Romanov dynasty and the Russian Empire. I would even argue, honestly, just in general, because as we have seen, people will still pay outrageous sums of money for these
Mm-hmm.
things
They absolutely will.
to just demonstrate their own power.
Indeed.
So it
So they
hasn't.
are a symbol of power overall. If you like what you heard today, please give us a positive review on whatever platform you listen to this podcast on. It goes a long way for us to appease the algorithm gods and get this suggested to others just like you. The more we can connect to our fellow history nerds, the more that we can build up a community and keep the show going.
Also, we have a Patreon where you can hang out with us and get exclusive content. like videos where we might try to make some ancient recipes, talk about topics that couldn't fit into the main arcs of the podcast, and just generally being batshit and dumpster fires, all for the price of a latte per month. Research materials and books cost a lot of money. It takes a lot of time to create the show, so anything you can provide would be a huge help. Also, it helps poor Agathon with his medical bills.
He needs the anal creams.
He needs the donut.
Oh no, he needs a donut. We need a donut for Agathon.
So
We
please
can't.
donate so we can get Agathon a donut.
We can't wait to see you again next week. And as always, thanks for listening.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.